Randumb Rants. Like and subscribe. It's time. Yeah, it's time. It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Sheneneh Jenkins rant. Yes. Yes, it's time. A few weeks back, I gave you guys the Geraldine rant, right? And I told you it's chapters. Okay, it's chapters. And I see you guys watched it. If you haven't, go check it out, right? But nonetheless, you clicked on this video. And yeah, we're going to give you the Sheneneh Jenkins story. You know, I know Sheneneh. I'm Rants. Of course, right? You already knew that though, right? I don't know if this is your first time watching me. I don't know if this is your 15th time watching me. But on the bio episodes, this is what I do. You know? We start from the beginning, then we break down a couple episodes and whatnot, and we let you know what happened at the end. But this is Sheneneh Jenkins, of course, right? And although Sheneneh isn't on every episode of Martin, she is in every season of Martin. And she accomplishes a lot in those 5 years. But we're going to talk about her accomplishments before the show, the ones you saw on air on classic episodes. Then we'll talk about her life afterwards, of course. And I guess this is the part where we start from the beginning, right? But I cooked this one up. This is actually a 2-for-1. Yep. I got you, right? This is a 2-for-1. Because in order for me to tell Sheneneh's story correctly, then of course I would have to start off with LaFonz, right? Oh, you guys don't remember LaFonz? You clicked on this video. So I'm sure you remember LaFonz, right? Yeah. LaFonz was Sheneneh's on and off boyfriend throughout the series, right? You know, LaFonz had a lot of baby mothers. And we're about to get into a brief bio on him, right? LaFonz was born and raised in Southwest Detroit. Yeah, and he jumped off the porch. I mean, he was a hardhead in a sense, right? A roughneck, as they used to say in the 90s. He was a roughneck. But nonetheless, though, right? To know LaFonz, you would have to know that he's affiliated. And when you say, what do you mean affiliated, Rants? What do you mean he's affiliated? Well, and we'll get on the Jerome episode eventually, but remember when Jerome says, they know me. They know me. Who is they? Who is they? Yeah. Well, they is BMF. Yep. Now, you guys already know, Rants don't get into the street lore. So you guys do your own research on BMF. But to think LaFonz wasn't affiliated is crazy. Are you crazy? You gotta be. You gotta be if you thought he wasn't affiliated. Yeah, LaFonz was getting money. Big money. Yep. He was at the games, you know, the Jalen Rose, Tommy games, and when he's a little older than them. Understand that. Understand that Sheneneh and LaFonz, they a little older than Martin. Understand that. Slightly, but a little bit. You know, LaFonz didn't graduate high school. No, he was getting money. Come on. He's LaFonz. And to know LaFonz, well, you would have to know his uncle, Macaroni Tony. Remember the numbers runner? Oh, it's starting to make sense now, right? Yeah. Macaroni Tony ran numbers and whatnot, right? And, well, I guess we can go to Sheneneh now, right? let's drift on and ease on into Sheneneh Jenkins, right? Because we don't have to really dwell into LaFonce. You guys kind of get where that story is going, and I just want to show you how they intertwine, right? So, and for the record, Sheneneh's bio is available on the internet. Anybody can read it, right? So I'm just going to read it to you guys. But everybody knows it. Sheneneh was born, of course, and raised in Southwest Detroit. She was raised by her grandmother, Miss Shirley Jenkins, while her mother, Sheneneh Jenkins, was in jail. See, her mother went to jail when Sheneneh was just 2 years old. Now, Sheneneh's father is unknown, right? And her mother was released from prison when Sheneneh graduated high school, eventually, right? But anyway, Sheneneh worked in a salon as a teen because she got into fights in school, and her grandmother was there working as the secretary and whatnot, right? And Sheneneh initially worked in the salon sweeping hair. Then by high school, she was doing hair and nails. And by 18, she was promoted to manager. And she changed the name of the salon to Sheneneh's Sho'nuff Hair Salon. And Sheneneh, everybody knows she did the best hair in Detroit at one point. Like everybody, all the it girls was going to her. And this even goes back to when she was a teen. Because now let's add in Macaroni Tony, right? His main lady, Miss Snooty Bird, was getting her hair done by Sheneneh Jenkins. And she's being complimented throughout the whole city of Detroit. Right? Who did your hair? Oh, Sheneneh did it. Sheneneh did it, right? And now Macaroni Tony comes into the salon and she's like, Sheneneh, I take a liking to your work ethic. Do you want to run numbers for me? And Sheneneh takes a crack at it during her 10 years for about 3 weeks. And this is explained in the show. Remember, she told you guys, I used to run numbers for Macaroni Tony. She told you. But what you guys didn't know was Macaroni Tony, of course, had a nephew. And one day on a number assignment, like, hey, pass these numbers on to a young girl, Sheneneh, over at the hair salon and whatnot. And they met. And let's just say they meshed together. They connected. And Rants, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Have you ever seen Sheneneh's prom picture with LaFonce? Yeah. Yeah. I have all of that. Yep. And Sheneneh, she worked her way up. She's the manager of the hair salon. And she saved up enough money to live over at 2900 East Jefferson Avenue, Detroit, Michigan. Oh, you guys aren't from there, I'm assuming. You guys don't know the address. Well, it's this building. I bet you know that damn building, don't you? Yeah, she was living there before Martin. Yes. Apartment 41. Oh. Before we can even get into the episodes, I gotta talk about Sheneneh's crew. Yeah. You guys remember, right? Sheneneh hung with a crew of baddies. Kilolo. You remember Kilolo, right? Bonquisha, who we see one time. And Laquita. Baddies. And don't ever get it twisted. These girls are from the hood. And let's just say if you catch one and you get the best of them, they will jump you. They will jump you. But Sheneneh does move into the building, like we said before. And eventually, of course, Martin moves in. And I guess that leads us to the episodes, right? Where we talk about Sheneneh's magnificent accomplishments throughout this sitcom. And we're going to have to start off with Season 1, Episode 6. Forever Sheneneh. You guys remember Kid from Kid and Play? He's at WZUP. And Martin's there, of course. He's working there, and they're having a contest, and the third caller will win a date with Kid. You guys remember the episode, right? Yeah. And the first two callers sounded all right, too. The second one, I think she was like, yeah, she just stepped out the bathroom. She was dripping wet. She 5'5". People mistake her for Vanessa Williams, but she was only the second caller. And then the third caller was Sheneneh, of course, and she was so excited she won, of course, right? And the next scene, we see Martin telling Gina, he like, yeah, look, Sheneneh won a date with Kid. I just called her over here. I'ma hit her over the head with a pan. You pretend to be Sheneneh, and then we can just, go from there. And Gina's like, what, are you crazy? I'll take care of it. And of course Sheneneh walks in, right? She's like, yeah, I'm supposed to be Martin over here. And Gina's like, yeah, Martin stepped out, but I just want to congratulate you on your date that you won. And Sheneneh tells her, like, yeah, I never get lucky for stuff like this. And plus I'm a big Kid fan. I do the dances with my girls. I watched all the movies, all the cartoons and whatnot. And Gina's like, well, maybe I can give you some tips. And she's like, huh? You just like your friend Pam. But you think I'm not ladylike because I'm from Southwest Detroit? I'm around the way filet. And then she like, look, I gotta leave. But before she leaves, she makes sure she tells Gina, yeah, and when you see your friend Pam, let her know. Yeah, tell her I ain't forget. And when I see her, I'ma see her. And actually, I forgot to mention Sheneneh's first ever scene on the show. Sheneneh was walking up the stairs, bringing up a load of clothes and whatnot, and she ran into Pam and Gina. And of course, she picked a fight with them, per usual. And Pam kind of pushed Sheneneh when she wasn't paying attention, as y'all can see, right? But anyway, we see Kid arrives to Sheneneh's apartment for the date, and we get to see Sheneneh's apartment, right? And Kid is like, all right, well, we should be leaving. And Sheneneh's like, oh, I canceled those reservations. You gonna be here. Let me get you a cocktail. And Kid tries to break the ice. He's like, Martin tells me he lives across the hall. And she lets it be known, oh yeah, he wants to get with me, but it's not happening. Now, were you thirsty? Because I have some 40 ounces that I bought earlier. They're frosty cold. And Kid takes one. This is years before his heart transplant, of course. So he's still making young man choices. And he tells Sheneneh, wow, malt liquor. You sure know how to impress an audience, right? And she's like, Kid, you don't pour no 40 in a glass. You gotta take it to the head. She's from Southwest. She's keeping it real and whatnot, right? And Kid is thinking, oh, she's getting drunk. Maybe I can get some. He's Kid. You feel me? And Sheneneh like, look, I'm preparing some food in the kitchen right now. But while it's cooking, would you like some live entertainment? And of course, Kid says yes. And then you see Sheneneh begins to dance for him. And then goes right at Kid. Smack at Kid. To the point where he starts to feel uncomfortable. And he leaves out the apartment and goes right across the hall to Martin's place. And of course, he's telling Martin, look, I said I was going to go on a date, but Sheneneh is clearly not my type. And Martin is telling him, look, you got to go through with the date. Because, his job is involved and whatnot. And Gina jumps in and she's like, wow, that's crazy, Mr. Class Sack. Like, she couldn't wait to use that pun, right? But she's like, that's crazy. That girl is one of your biggest fans and whatnot. And then, of course, she convinces Kid to go over there. And before he goes back over there, though, he actually introduces himself because Gina just went on this man and didn't even know him. He's a celebrity. But he introduces himself. He's like, I'm Kid. She's like, I'm Gina, Martin's girlfriend and whatnot. And then Kid goes back over there, right? And right before he's about to walk over there, Kid stops him. He's like, hey, Kid, ain't gonna hurt nobody. And then you see Kid walk across the hall, right? And Sheneneh's clearly upset. And she tell him, she's like, yeah, you didn't have to come back if you ain't want to. And Kid was like, nah, I just went to the car. I got you a chain. And Sheneneh was like, I knew you wasn't stuck up. Now let's dance. And she plays the music. And you guys remember this classic, infamous scene, right? That Jodeci playing in that background. Forever, forever, forever. Forever, Sheneneh. It's like a dream. Kid, I'm holding you close. I'm keeping you warm. This is ecstasy. And then Sheneneh asks Kid, she's like, can you kiss me like you kissed that big head light skinned girl in House Party? And then the episode goes off, right? But that wouldn't be the last time we see Sheneneh. No, of course not, right? You guys remember season 1, episode 14, right? When Martin outs his friend's business on the radio, remember? And of course, this causes him to lose his friends, right? And he has to hang with Stan. And then we meet Myra, right? Who's Stan girl for this particular episode, because Stan gets plenty of women. But remember Myra, because this won't be the last time we see her on this particular episode, right? And we see Sheneneh, right? And Sean, they meet in the hallway. Sean is from the radio station, of course, and he's like, wait, I know you. You're Shannon Noah. And she's like, no, I'm Sheneneh. She introduces herself though, and she's like, "Would you want me just like Martin?" But guess what? I don't do the swirl. I'm not into the swirl. You got Sheneneh fever, Sean. You got Sheneneh fever. Y'all remember? And of course, y'all remember the end of this episode. To make up with his friends, of course, Martin gets on the radio and tells the whole Detroiter secret. He exposed that one night, 2 years prior to meeting Gina, he tried to sleep with Sheneneh, but she wouldn't even answer the door for him. And he was like, there, I said it. If you don't like it, go to hell. I don't know why he said it like that. Go to hell. I don't know why he said it like that, right? They always rub me the wrong way. Go to hell. But anyway, you see Sheneneh at the end of the episode, right? She busts to Martin's apartment, right? Because of course he makes up with his friends. And she tells him, oh my goodness, I didn't know, Martin. You can come on home. Come on over. And you see Martin, he's just there looking crazy, right? Or this classic episode. This is a classic one, right? Season 1, episode 22, Credit Card Blues. This is the one when Martin gets arrested with his slime ball fraud committing friend. Remember, he had the stolen credit cards. And Martin needed $1,000 to get bailed out. And Rants does the inflation calculator for you guys. That's equivalent to $2,400 today, right? $2,400, right? And they all scramble up the money. Gina has $200. Pam has $200. Tommy has $100, right? And Cole was like, I got $14, but that was just his mother's change from the grocery shop. But Cole has an idea. He goes right across that hall and knocks on apartment 41. And he asked Sheneneh, he was like, yeah, can we get $500? Which is equal to $1,200 in today's money, right? And Sheneneh's like, damn, Cole, we cool, but what you trying to buy, a Hyundai? And Sheneneh pulls out a wad of straight cash. And Sheneneh's like, let me think about it. Then she's like, all right, look, it's going to cost y'all 5% on the dollar. And if I don't get my money back, all hell going to break loose. Oh, yeah, and Gina, do me a favor. When you get down there, if Todd Bridges is still locked up, tell him when he gets out, he has a place to stay. Tell him, call Sheneneh, because I will show him a different stroke. And then, oh yes, I couldn't wait to get to this scene. We see LaFonz. Finally, you guys are finally introduced to him, right? And he steps out with that 40 ounce, right? And he's like, Sheneneh, what's taking you so long? Get in there and fix me my ham sandwich. And to all my subscribers that's Muslim, okay, I apologize. LaFonz's last name is not Ali or X. In fact, if you guys really care, his last name is McElwain. And he does partake in swine because he asked for the ham sandwich. And Sheneneh's like, LaFonz, Don't embarrass me like that in front of my friends. Now, if you don't know how to hold your liquor, you shouldn't be drinking. And he grabbed her arm. He's like, oh, baby, I'm sorry. And you see Sheneneh tense up. She's like, oh, have you been working out? Give me some of this 40. And then they go back in the apartment, But Sheneneh did give them the $500 to bail Martin out, And then, you guys not even hip right, the first time we actually see Kilolo. Season 1, episode 25, the variety show for WZUP. Yeah, y'all don't remember? Kilolo and Sheneneh saved the show. And for the record, I know Miss Rocky Bad, she likes to claim that she's the first female rapper from Detroit. But her auntie is Kilolo. And she knows that. Rocky Bad, you know that. You know your auntie's Kilolo. She was breaking down barriers in Detroit in the 90s. But yeah, you guys don't remember the episode? Martin was out there trying to sing Jana's song. Something, you gotta push. Come on and push. He was out there doing the moonwalk. Something, you gotta push it till you get it right. Yeah, he got booed. Y'all remember that? Stan walked out there. Something, meet me. Meet me with your plaid dress on. Y'all remember that? Y'all, this is a classic episode. Finally, Gina and Pam came out there, and I promise y'all, I will do an episode on them singing every chance they get. I promise y'all, I got y'all. They was out there some hold up the lights, take away the darkness. Hold up the lights, take away the darkness. And then we are introduced to Kilolo and Sheneneh. They coming in, busting on their performance with the twin cross colors and the denim overalls. Looking edible. Well, Kilolo definitely was. And they start the song off, go Nene, go Nene, go. The crowd is into it. Go Lolo, go Lolo, go. And they perform their song. You want some, but you can't get none. Yeah, you want some, but you can't get none. Y'all remember that? Classic. It saved the variety show. It ended up being a hit, And then, don't even let me get started. The episode right after that, season 1, episode 26, we're introduced to Bonquisha. Yeah, you guys don't remember? Martin and the crew, they got one of those $25 raffle tickets for a car off of Roscoe. Now, $25, of course, is equal to $59 today, right? And they end up winning the car. And because they all put in, of course, they all put in 5, I believe, right? They all put in. And they decided that they will all split the car, one day out of the week, right? You guys remember, right? And on Tuesday, we see Tommy. He has the car, right? And he's a bald poon hound, right? He's playing an Uber driver 30 years before it even existed. He's transporting Sheneneh, Bonquisha, and Kilolo to the club. And he's probably thinking like, maybe I can get a 4-way out of this. I'm a poon hound, But he realizes they are all Southwest Detroit chicks, and they're rushing him to get to the club, of course, and they're moving his rear view mirror around and all that. And Bonquisha offers Sheneneh some lipstick, and Sheneneh quickly declines. She's like, oh no, I know where your lips was last night. And Kilolo was like, dang, I lost my earring in the back seat. And Sheneneh's like, well, damn, you got 5P on? And Bonquisha, she falling into Tommy plans. She start rubbing on his bald head, rubbing on a bald dome, saying like, yeah, I want me a tall, bald, sensitive man so I can close my eyes and make believe it's Montel Williams, And Tommy's like, get your big breath out of my ear. And Bonquisha's like, oh, that's not me. That's Kilolo. She's been eating chitlins again. And Kilolo's like, oh, you not lying. I'm thirsty. Pass me my 40. And Tommy's like, please don't open that in his car. And Sheneneh tells Tommy, yeah, that's why I had 2 40s before I left. I'm not paying $80, which is equivalent to $19 today, for a fuzzy navel. Not to mention, I'm a lady. And then this leads to Sheneneh and the crew yelling out the window to one of the drivers in the other lanes, of course. And then that driver rammed the car. Just rammed the car. You guys remember, right? Or what about this legendary Sheneneh episode? Season 2, episode 7, Control. When Gina lost Martin Piston tickets. And Sheneneh had some. Just so happened to have some Piston tickets. And of course she was like, oh, Pam, you need to go sing Old MacDonald with some soul. And Pam gets the Old MacDonald had a farm, oh. And Sheneneh is like, well, if you want these tickets, Gina, you're going to have to come work at my shop for one morning. And Gina agrees. And we see Gina in Sheneneh's hair salon. And we also see Laquita. She's there. She needs a shampoo. And Myra's there also. She needs her toes done. And Gina, of course, uses the nail filer. But Myra starts to complain. Gina doesn't understand, right? This is how Sheneneh makes her money. Sheneneh, like, this is Myra. When you see her feet, you gotta go to work on her feet. She pulls out that power sander and she gets her feet together. You guys remember this classic scene? Yeah. And then you see Sheneneh, she's telling everybody, yeah, I gotta leave out. I gotta go get some neutralizer. I'm gonna be back. But Myra's telling Gina, like, look, I need my perm. I got some men to get back home to. And Gina tell her, look, I got you. Even though it's an actual hairstylist in there that worked there that told her don't do it, Gina's like, look, I got you, right? And in the next scene, you see, Gina has everything under control. She's getting people's drinks. She's ringing people up. Sheneneh can't believe it. She's like, oh, nah. And Myra got her perm too, right? And she's like, huh? You gave Myra a perm without the neutralizer? And Gina's like, oh. And Myra asks Gina, look, like, you almost done? I gotta go season my gizzards. And they take that towel off. And of course, you guys remember, Myra is bald. She turns around and she almost had a heart attack. But Sheneneh, Pam, and Gina, they convinced her. They was like, Grace Jones, Sinead O'Connor, even Eartha Kitt. And Myra like, Eartha Kitt? She's not bald. Sheneneh tell her, look, Myra, you don't know Eartha like I know Eartha. And Myra, look, she like, purr. She get to saying, purr. Y'all remember how Eartha Kitt used to give it up, act like she was a cat and went out off the Catwoman and whatnot, right? Some damn bonjour, parlez-vous français, s'il vous plaît, and like she's happy now, right? And at the end of the episode, you see Sheneneh giving Gina her props for her efforts at the shop, and she finally gives her the tickets. And Gina's like, huh? And we find out Sheneneh had Martin's tickets the whole time because apparently she found them in the hallway. But it didn't matter because she already got the free labor out of a college student, proving that one American rule: college only teaches you how to work for someone else. And Sheneneh proved it right there, right? But I know you guys remember this particular episode, right? This is another legendary episode. And it's another accomplishment on Sheneneh Jenkins' resume. Season 3, episode 15, Sophisticated Ladies. Yeah, you guys don't remember Martin and Tommy? They're going to Chicago to watch the 90s Bulls, of course. And Gina tells them, her and Pam, they going to be busy this weekend because this the weekend they can join the Ladies League of Detroit. And we see Sheneneh and Laquita just so happen to meet them in the hallway. And Sheneneh, she has her backups, of course. So she goes smack at Pam. She's like, yeah, I didn't know Knickerbockers was back in style. And Pam and Gina, they like, look, we on the way to the club. And Laquita like, oh, you talking about the new one off Jefferson? My cousin just won a Tootsie Roll contest over there. And of course they break down into that Tootsie Roll dance. That to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right. You know how they get down, right? And Gina and Pam, they chuckle. They like, no. no. We're going to the Ladies League Club. They only accept professional women that mainly own their own businesses. And Sheneneh is offended. She's like, what? What you trying to say? Because you the one with the job, Miss Morgan State. Was you not working for me last season for those tickets? You don't remember that? And Pam's, Pam don't like Sheneneh either, right? She's like, well, owning your own scare salon isn't enough. You got to have class, dignity, elegance. And they only accepting 2 people. And Laquita's like, oh, that's sweet. Because me and Sheneneh going to get those spots. And Gina lets them know, oh, trust him, trust him. Me and Pam are getting those spots. But we will definitely, help you guys next year if you're interested. And Sheneneh like, huh? Help us get in? Fan me, Laquita. Then she gets fanned, of course. Then she's like, now let me tell you something, low budget salt and pepper. We don't need y'all help. We gonna meet y'all guys there. And in the next scene, of course, you see Gina and Pam. They're at the clubhouse and they're so excited, yet brainwashed by the corporate world. They're saying, oh my God, I can't believe we're here. All the most influential women in Detroit are here. If we get 3 clients out of here, we can get a promotion. And Pam mentions, yeah, I can get a window seat. Like a promotion, a window seat, and a paycheck every 2 weeks, which is a very addicting paycheck, is what you have to look forward to, when you work for someone else, right? But then we see them introduce themselves to Miss Settles, right? And they call a meeting to the order. Of course, Miss Settles called a meeting to order and whatnot. She introduced everyone. Hey, everyone, this is Pamela James and Gina Waters. Oh. But Sheneneh and Laquita bust right on in, right? And Gina and Pam, they go over there. They like, leave before you guys embarrass yourselves. And this causes Sheneneh to almost fight Pam, like always, right? And Miss Dupree, the drunk lady. You guys remember her, right? She always pops up on the episodes, right? That's Miss Dupree, the drunk lady, right? She was like, I got my money on the one with the weave. And Miss Settles asks, what's the issue? And Gina and Pam says, oh, nothing, Miss Settles. And Sheneneh was like, she already did her research. She was like, oh, your name's Amanda, right? Here's our applications. And Miss Settles was like, well, introduce the lady sitting next to you. Sheneneh's like, oh, that's Gina Waters with the tight eyes and the big face. She go with the brother across the hall. And to be honest, I don't approve of it. And Gina stands up and she's like, look, hey, I'm Gina Waters, everybody. I'm vice president for Bentley, Buford, and Diamond. And this is Pamela James, who's also a great business promoter. And Miss Settles asks Pam to introduce Laquita. And Pam says, she's like, oh, that's Laquita. She does nails. And Laquita stands up. She's like, oh, no, I invented my own manicure. And I do piercings and tattoos and body waxing. And Sheneneh is like, okay, my turn next. And Laquita jump in, hyping her friend up off that Southwest vibe, talking about something, it's on you. So what you about to do? And of course, they break out into a dance, right? And Sheneneh gets on the podium and tells everyone, hey, everyone, I'm Sheneneh Jenkins. I used to run numbers for Macaroni Tony and them. And don't act like I don't recognize some of y'all. Because y'all know what I'm talking about. And we've already discussed that. See, that makes sense now, right? And she also shares, she's like, I'm currently in Uncle Luke's latest video. But I don't take nothing off because I'm a lady. And Miss Settles say, well, on your application, it says you own a hair salon. And she says, yes, I do. And you actually need to come see me because your due is off. And Miss Settles, she dismisses the ladies, of course, and inform all parties that they will be making their final decision, of course, right? And Gina and Pam, they leave first. And Sheneneh notices one of the older ladies. She's like, hey, excuse me, you're Miss Whitmore? You're married to the dentist, Walter Whitmore? She's like, yeah, that's my husband. And Laquita says, oh, I know your daughter. He takes her to get her feet and nails done every week. And Miss Whitmore was like, huh? We don't have a daughter. And Sheneneh was like, yeah, well, I doubt he bought his daughter 5 fur coats. Your husband out here living foul. And she was like, oh, Miss Whitmore was like, oh, not for much longer, and storms out the door. So then Miss Settles, pulls Sheneneh to the side. She was like, hey, have you ever saw my husband out? They was like, well, who's your husband? And she says, Borgat Settles. And they say, Obi? Obi messed with the twins. How he's moving out here. We never thought he was married. Acting like that. Then another one asks, hey, do you know George Combs? They was like, George? Humpty George? And you see the women is storming them now, right? And in the next scene, we see Pam and Gina. They talking about how Sheneneh and Laquita made fools of themselves. And Laquita knocks on the door and tells them, Sheneneh said, she want to make amends with y'all. And we got some tickets to the Wu-Tang concert. If y'all want to come, y'all can. Pam is like, all right, that don't sound like a bad time, But Gina says, no, this is a setup. If we go to that concert, we're going to be tired and hungover for the Ladies League meeting tomorrow. And they decline, right? And the next day, we see them. But the ladies seems like they pulled an all-nighter from the Wu-Tang concert. And apparently they just got back from the after party. We see Miss Settles dancing, right? Just dancing. And she's like, I got a Love Jones for a roughneck. And we already explained the roughneck meaning in the earlier part of the video, right? And Sheneneh's like, oh, you like roughnecks, huh? My man, who was LaFawn's, of course, cousin just made parole. Do you want to be down? And Miss Settles was like, what his number is? Sounding all corny. What his number is? And she's like, look, I got his beeper number, because it's cheaper to beeper, Sheneneh fly, right? And Miss Settles lets everyone know, we want to congratulate the two newest members, Laquita and Sheneneh. And Sheneneh's also going to be the board of directors. And Pam and Gina, they can't believe they're confused. They like, how did we not get in, Miss Settles? And Miss Settles explained to him, like, look, Sheneneh convinced us we should live a little, have a little bit more fun, And Sheneneh still approved Gina and Pam to get in the Ladies League. Still approved them. Of course, she made them thank her, though, And then she made them hand out the flyers for her shop, Because Sheneneh about her paper. And she's always going to make Gina and Pam do something because she feels like they think they're better than her. Because where she's from. But Sheneneh gets to that bag and she don't work for nobody. Everybody know that. And the episode ends with them partying, of course, right? But what about season 4, episode 19? The Love Jones Connection. You guys remember that episode? Remember, we see Gina and Pam, they're on their way to see the classic movie Jurassic Trailer Park, which was a classic, might I add, classic movie. And of course, they see Sheneneh in the hallway. And she's crying. And they like, well, what's going on, Sheneneh? And she tells them, yeah, LaFawn's went back to his second baby mother. And of course, she's heartbroken. And Gina and Pam mentioned to her, like, yeah, the Love Jones Connection will be in Detroit. You should go up there. And Sheneneh like, that sounds like a good idea. If LaFawn see me on TV, he's going to be jealous. And somebody's probably going to get capped, but I should get him back. And we see Sheneneh on the classic Love Jones Connection show, hosted by the legendary DeAndre Simpson, right? And you see her. As soon as she get on camera, she shouts out Laquita and all her homies from around the way, Southwest Detroit. You already know. She tells DeAndre Simpson, I like a man that's not scared to scratch his butt in public. It's yours. Go ahead and do that. And we hear about Sheneneh's date with Valentino Watson. And we find out that when Valentino arrived, all of Sheneneh's friends was at her house. He felt like he was at an Uncle Luke video. And Sheneneh explained, she was like, I don't know this dude. I don't trust this dude. I had all my homegirls over there just in case he forgot that I'm a lady. And we find out throughout the show that Valentino met Martin and the whole crew, of course, and took Sheneneh out for fast food through the drive-thru and even offered to supersize the meal. And they were chilling in the parking lot eating, and he noticed Sheneneh was staring at him because he's a Mac and whatnot, right? And he made a mistake by putting his hand on her knee, and Sheneneh checked his chin. Yeah, jab right to the chin. And afterwards, Valentino mentioned, he was invited in. And they watched Def Jam until 2 a.m. And Sheneneh begged him to stay. And Sheneneh said, nah, look, I only let him stay over because he was born. And I thought he would fall asleep on the road. I couldn't have that on my conscience. And then, of course, the show has to vote. And we see Valentino wins, and the show agrees to give Sheneneh $300, which of course is equivalent to $650 in today's money, and a limo to go out on another date with Valentino. And she accepts. And we see Valentino and Sheneneh, who already agreed to split the date money, 150, of course. Sheneneh gives that boy $5 and sends him on his way. Because Sheneneh is about $1. She wasn't wasting her time 2 times. See, that's what happened when you try to supersize her. Joke was on him, right? But that was that particular episode. And I mean, we have other random episodes, right? Like, it was a random Christmas episode I remember where Martin threw a snowball at Sheneneh's head. And I remember Sheneneh was blown, like she was really upset. She called Gina Rudolph the red-boned reindeer. And then she was like, yeah, let Martin know when I see him, I'm going to start capping. And told Pam, like, yeah, and let Pam know I'm looking for her too. Gina was like, why are you looking for her? Just because it's season's beatings. Like, yeah. You know, and I guess that leads us to the next question, right? Can Sheneneh fight? Can Sheneneh throw paws? Can she get down? You know? And that answer is very simple. See, Sheneneh's from the hood, right? She's from Southwest Detroit. She's been fighting her whole life, so of course she knows how to fight. But like any typical hood person, they pick and choose. Yeah, they pick and choose. They'll fight if they have to, but they pick and choose. Right? See, she's always thought that she could beat Gina. Gina went to Morgan State. She always thought she could beat Pam. That's Gina's friend. Like, I could spank them. But do you guys remember season 1, episode 20, when we had the opportunity to meet Nicole, Martin's ex? A baddie. You see her on the bed? Baddie. And Martin claimed that they didn't do anything that episode, right? But she definitely slept in your bed and had some shorts on, though, right? I guess that was safe to say. But nonetheless, though, we off subject, right? As she was leaving, you see that Sheneneh, her and Nicole just so happened to bump shoulders and whatnot, right? And she's like, what are you doing here? Didn't Martin drop you like a bar of soap? She's like, go home. Don't let me catch you around here again. Weave hair. And Nicole was like, this is my hair. And squares up. And y'all remember Sheneneh backs down. She got scared. You know? And that's because Nicole has put hands on Sheneneh before. Like, before you guys saw that episode, when Nicole was messing with Martin, Nicole fought Sheneneh about 3 times and got the best of her every time, right? It's a fact. It's a fact. But to think Kilolo and Bonquisha and Laquita and Sheneneh and the crew ain't catch Nicole, you're crazy. You're crazy. We got a little bit of pictures. Sheneneh sent me those personally. You're crazy, right? But what about season 4, episode 3, right? With the great Christopher Latour Wallace. You guys remember this episode? Martin was high throughout this whole episode, right? And I promise you we will do that episode too. Because, I mean, Martin is clearly high throughout some of these episodes, right? But anyway, the great Christopher Latour Wallace, you may know him as Biggie Smalls, right? The great Biggie, Notorious B.I.G., right? And rest in peace, right? Well, on this particular episode, he was looking for a background singer to go on tour with him. And guess who won that competition? You guys already know because you saw the damn episode. Sheneneh! Yes. And it's not luck, okay? I know you guys, Sheneneh's lucky. No, you have to put yourself in positions to even win. So that's not luck. It's not luck. Sheneneh on screen talking some, and I'm telling you, no, I'm telling you. Singing Gina's song, not even caring. You know? Endless accomplishments. You guys forgot. Remember season 2, episode 2, when Gina's face gets swollen, the Pretty Ricky episode? It's a part of that episode. Sheneneh let you know, yeah, I went to a hair show in Atlanta. And I won the Golden Weave Award. You know, putting in endless work. Or what about the random Christmas episode? I don't know if you guys remember this one, right? When Martin gave those black and white Jordan 12s to the homeless kid. It's a scene where Jackie Chan knocks on Martin Payne's door. He was like, hey, they was like, hey, can I help you? It's like, I'm looking for Sheneneh. Like, hey, Jackie Chan, she lives across the hall. He was like, oh, thank you, I have a gift for her. He knocked on the door, and Sheneneh was like, oh, hey, Jackie, you know, she's about to open the door for him. And Martin and Gina was like, Damn! Jackie Chan is over here for Sheneneh? Sheneneh must got that ill nana. Yes, the ill nana, also known as the sick grandmother. Yeah, she does. And in fact, she do. That's a fact, actually. Right? But that's neither here nor there. Not that I would know or anything. Rants wouldn't know, of course. I'm just telling you what the guys that mess with Sheneneh told me. You know? But, can we touch on the relationship between Sheneneh and Pam and Gina? Because, I mean, it's obvious, right? Sheneneh is jealous of Gina and Martin's relationship. But she never, ever, ever wanted to hang with Gina and Pam. They were never her cup of tea. And she's always felt that they thought they were better than her. So why would she want to hang with them? Not to mention she's bossed up. You know? But you guys do remember, it was one episode, I remember Sheneneh was telling Gina. It was when Gina was thinking about moving to New York and whatnot. And she was like, yeah, Martin's not thinking about you. Your best bet would be to go to New York and find another man. And Gina mentioned that's exactly what Pam said. And Sheneneh tell her, look, if Martin is anything like LaFonz, if you telling him you're about to go to New York, he should be losing his mind. LaFonz don't even let me go wig shopping alone. And LaFonz even picks up my monthly personal hygiene products. And Pam was telling Gina, look, me and Sheneneh, we usually beef, but she's right. And Sheneneh was like, you alright when you want to be alright, you know. And it shows, like, she was trying to give her relationship advice, right? Like, they don't have to be friends, but she did respect her a little bit, right? Sheneneh respected Gina a little bit and Pam a little bit, but never wanted to be friends with these chicks because she felt like they thought they were better than her, you know? And the last time we see Sheneneh on the show, on the Martin show, I don't know if you guys remember this. Well, when I say it, you guys will, right? Season 5, episode 16, Power to the People's Court. This is when Tommy, he hit Sheneneh's new purple Benz. Just, you know, caused a little dent in it, right? Well, we thought it was new, but it was actually a 78, right? But it was new for her. Had paper tags on it and everything. And Sheneneh sued Tommy for $1.7 million, which of course in today's money is $3.6 million, right? And you see the Honorable Marshall Thurgood. He heard this case, right? And Sheneneh had Ronnie Cochran representing her, right? And the Honorable Marshall Thurgood, he ordered Tommy to pay $170, right? And Tommy peeled off $180. Told her to keep the change, right? And Sheneneh looked at her lawyer fees. She was like, okay, $42.25 times 4, that's $169. I only got $1 left, you know? And she did win the case, you know. She just didn't get any money off that. And I know, now I guess it's like, because it's rants. It's rants, right? You guys want to know, what happened to Sheneneh after Martin? You know, we didn't see her. We don't see her no more, right? Did she get back with LaFonz? And let me burst that bubble right now. No, the hell she did not. Okay, she could always do better than LaFonz, you know. Now you got to think LaFonz had trap money. He had trap money, right? But you guys got to understand, LaFonz goes down with the BMF empire. Like I said, you guys can look that story up and whatnot. And she was not about to ride or die and support that man while he was in federal prison. No, no, no. He has other baby mothers. And that's when she realized, like, yeah, you need to go call them. You know, I'm not dealing with you. Now understand, Sheneneh was a weave technician, a master weave technician in Detroit, Michigan. Everybody knows Sheneneh, right? So remember the whole Biggie thing, right? All right, you guys remember she was a background singer on tour with Biggie, right? So that led her to meet other people, obviously. This is why you didn't really see her like that in season 5, right? And just understand, you guys remember that Little Kim video? Classic song. It's called Crush on You. You guys go check that video out. Little Kim is going to have different color wigs and outfits on throughout that whole video. Who do you think designed those wigs and those outfits? Yep, Sheneneh Jenkins. You damn right. You damn right. And Sheneneh she's actually probably the most successful person from the show now, to be honest with you. Hustle Man, he made some money. You guys saw the Hustle Man episode, but Sheneneh, she has her own successful line of hair products. And I mean, they're hard to even get your hands on. They're always sold out. You know, she's successful. Sheneneh Jenkins, successful. And come on now. Of course she's still friends with Martin. That's the homie. Come on now, that's the homie. Of course she's still friends with Martin. But y'all know what time it is, man. Like and subscribe. Randumb Rants.